Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm here to bring you guys another Heart of the Swarm broadcast. Today we'll be looking at another match from DreamHack Stockholm at the round of 8, and I thought I'd go ahead and bring a cast for you guys between Liquid.Hero and Quantic.Hyun. Liquid.Hero is going to be the red Protoss player in the top left-hand corner of Belshir Vestige, and his opponent is going to be, of course, Quantic.Hyun, the blue Zerg player in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm only going to be casting one match from this set, as only one replay was available, and I'll be wrapping up, I think, the DreamHack replays that I've been doing probably by today or tomorrow, and then I'm going to be going back to doing, you know, the highlight matches for whatever you guys send me into my email box. So if you guys have any sick replays, any links to replays that you consider really good and you'd like to see me cast it, feel free to send it in to HDreplays@gmail.com. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this game here. Quantic.Hyun is a former Brood War player, really talented. He actually got to Code S, I think, last year, and showed that he was a legit tournament contender. And now he's in the round of 8 of DreamHack, playing against one of the most feared Protoss players, Hero. And unfortunately, I don't know when in the set this match occurred in the best of 3, but you know, it's still going to be, I'm sure, a very good matchup. And we'll see what happens here. Hero is going to be going for Pylon at the front door. It looks like he wants to go for an expansion. The thing on Belshir Vestige is you do have to be a little concerned about the opening here, and usually what you want to do as Protoss is wall from here to here. It is a pretty big wall to set up. You can also wall from here to the Pylon to the Nexus, depending on how you want to set up your door. But against Zerg, you got to make sure that you're basically Zergling proof. Otherwise, things can fall apart pretty quickly at the natural expansion. We can see here, Hero is going to be going for a Nexus, and here it comes warping down at the natural expansion. Meanwhile, Hyun is bringing his Overlord in. He's adding on a spawning pool, and it looks like he went for hatchery first. You know, the thing on Belshir Vestige is it is a pretty big map, and even though it's only 1 versus 1, there's no multiple spawns. A lot of times, this map can get into the late game, and you'll see a lot of long, drawn-out engagements as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing a big game here between these two players, as the Overlord now floats above the natural expansion. It is going to get a full scout off. And we can see Hero here is starting to set up the wall, and he is going to wall off from here to here, which I think against Zerg is prudent. You just don't want to let any openings, you know, manifest themselves into a serious situation. And you can see here, Hero is actually going to be throwing up a photon cannon as well, just to make sure that he's safe rather than sorry. Has a probe out at the middle of the map, scouting for any potential incursions from the Zerg side. And for now, I don't think Hyun is going to be making any type of aggressive moves. You know, he is making the upgrade for Zergling speed, but I think he's going to be sitting back here and grabbing a quick expansion, another expansion on top of the one he has at the natural right now, because he sees the early expansion from the Protoss player, and typically, you know, when you see something like this, you want to get that extra hatchery down, because it's going to be so hard to punch through this front door. I mean, it's going to be nigh impossible. And it's much better typically to just take more passive role and try to get another expansion down. And I think that's exactly what Hyun's going to do here, as he tries to get rid of this probe at the third. And pretty soon here, I'd expect to see him pull a drone off the line and try to get another hatchery down. That probe is going to make a quick left turn right there, trying to get away from the Queen, and the Zerglings are still going to be attacking it. I don't know if this probe is going to make it out alive. I highly doubt it, unless the shields can start to regenerate. But oh, there we go. Actually, it might just survive. But it is still very improbable, as that probe is trying to make it back home. And finally, the Zerglings do finish it off. That's the reason being that Zerglings have a little bit more of a movement speed advantage against the probe. So eventually, it does get taken down, and that means Hero will not be able to scout the whereabouts of this expansion unless he brings another probe out. For now, he does have the wall sealed off with the Zealot. He's making a Stalker, and he's actually adding on a Stargate here inside the main base. And the Overlord thus far, I don't think Hyun has seen the Stargate. He has not. So we are going to be seeing either a Void Ray or maybe Phoenixes, possibly Oracle, but I highly doubt it. It's not used that much against Zerg. And I do like how Hero is bringing the Stalker to the left-hand side here, just to persuade, if you will, the Overlord to not go to the left, to see where that the Stargate is coming up. And so Hero here, his tech is basically hidden, not revealed. He's mined up a decent amount of gas here, almost, let's see, how much gas does he have? He's got about 200 gas, maybe a little less, about 50 gas right now. So he's really starting to pump out a couple of units, and we can see that a lot of that was used for the Phoenix and the Oracle. So he is going to be going for Phoenixes, excuse me, not the Oracle, but the Sentry, the Phoenix and the Sentry. So we are going to have a Phoenix opening coming out here for the Protoss player, and Hyun needs to think about defending this expansion here. There's a probe that has snuck its way behind the hatchery, and a Stalker and a Zealot coming out as well. This hatchery is going to take some damage, although there are Zerglings coming out now with speed. The Queen is taking a bit of hits, but I think that Hyun is going to be able to make a hold here, and the Zealot is going to get taken down. So very nice protection right there from Quantic.Hyun. He also needs to sniff out that probe that's hiding on the left-hand side, and the Phoenix now has revealed itself on the Overlord. So if Hyun had any questions as to the tech route that Hero was going with, that has been answered. And typically against Protoss, when you see a Phoenix come out, the right response is to get a Hydralisk gen. Nowadays, because Hydras move so quickly, when you get that the Hydra speed, the muscle augments. So we do have a Hydralisk Den on the way right now. I love the decision by Hyun. And Hero right now coming in with a couple more Phoenixes, really being annoying. And it looks like he might be able to kill off this Queen as well. Queen, oh, it's barely going to survive, so that requires a second Graviton Beam, which means one less drone that can be killed by the Phoenixes. So nice right there for Hyun, just kind of a stroke of luck that forced another Graviton Beam. And I don't think any more Queens are going to go down at this point. Meanwhile, Zergling is still kind of scouting enemy airspace. They do see more inbound Phoenixes. Scratch that, one Queen may go down, so another sister has fallen. And these Phoenixes, they're just so sturdy against the Queens. Even though Queens have pretty decent anti-air, the Phoenixes have such an immense amount of speed. It's very hard for Queens alone to take them out, and that's why Hydras or Spore Crawlers are required. And we can see here, Hyun is struggling to get Hydras and Spore Crawlers out on the field. He's also trying to get Muscular Augments, and a Hydralisk has made its way on the field, greatly adding to the damage output against air, and that is going to force Hero to back off just a little bit. But I love the beauty of Hyun's build here. Of Hero's build here. You know, he's opened up with Phoenixes in an attempt to bait Hydras to come out so that he can switch into Colossus, and we can see that Robotic Support Bay is on the way here. And, you know, the beauty of this is Colossus shred Hydralisks. So if he can get those Colossus out on the field, Hyun is going to be in a fair amount of trouble. I love how he goes after the drones mining gas as well, taking them out. So Hyun will need to bring 2 more drones onto that gas in order to maximize efficiency. And it looks like he might have just forgotten. Oh, there we go. So drone's going back on gas right there. We do have a Spire coming up as well from Hyun. And a good decision, I think, to go for the Spire, because he's got to be a little wary about a Colossus switch here for the reasons I mentioned above. And if you can get a Spire down, Corruptors are very, very easy to get out as a result. So I think we're going to see kind of a Hydra Corruptor, and probably going to have Roaches as the tank meaty unit in the front. We can see that, you know, Roach speed is being upgraded. So it's probably looking to be a Roach Hydra Corruptor comp from the Zerg player, and Hero, I think, is going to just stick with this kind of you know, transition into late game Colossus. But for now, he's really being smart about his Phoenixes. He's been flying around, he's been picking off core units, and, you know, the resources lost tab doesn't lie. The Zerg has lost you know, double, even more than double the units that the Protoss has lost. So very nice job so far by Hero, and throughout this harass, he's been able to secure himself another expansion. So beautifully done there. And the forces he's got on the map right now, they don't look all that sturdy, but once that Colossus hits the field, which it just now finished, that changes the name of the game entirely. And he does need to get, you know, extended thermal lance going as well. And whoa, a cancellation of the Nexus. Do we have a pretend expand into all in here? It's gotta be a fake out. He's canceled the Nexus on purpose, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gates. And, you know, I thought he was going to go for the expansion, but it looks like he's just psyching it out in order to go for an attack. And this is such a tricky play by Hero. And the thing is that Hyun doesn't even know that there was a Nexus coming up, but he can interpret that since there's a pylon and photon cannons, that the Protoss must be expanding. But that interpretation would be wrong, as Hero is going for this all in here. And I don't know if Hyun's going to have enough forces to hold this off. Now, beautifully, thankfully, he's got Corruptors on the field, but I don't know if he's got enough Roaches to back up his Hydras. He's trying to make 14, 18 Roaches right now, and this is such a sick all-in by Hero. Is it going to be enough to end the game? He is, I'm sure he's going to be able to take out this hatchery at the very least, so he can tie up the number of bases. And right now, moving over to the left-hand side, and the entirety of the Protoss firepower now focused out on that hatchery. It is going to get taken out, although the drone somehow survives. One hallucinated Colossus coming to join the fray as well, and that is going to distract these Corruptors for some time, allowing the main Colossus to do the damage it needs to do. And I think Hero here could potentially end the game, but a lot of roaches coming out at the very last second. Force Field's coming down as well. The Corruptors taking out the Colossus, both of them, the hallucinated and the real one, now corrupting the air units that remain. And it looks like, I think that the Zerg player might just happen to force this. No, yes, a pullback, as you know, those force fields just proving to be a little bit too difficult for the Zerg forces to maneuver through. And he realizes, hey, instead of forcing that engagement, I'm just going to pull back just a bit, wait for more reinforcements to arrive. He's got 22 roaches on the production tab. He's got to buy time for those roaches to hit the field in order for him to survive this assault. The upgrade's currently at 1-1 for both sides. Is it going to be enough for Hyun to hold here? The Protoss army is still a bit larger than the Zerg at 179 supply over 142. Another hatchery is going to fall, and it looks like Hyun says, screw it. I'm gonna go for a counterattack, not gonna try to defend this hatchery anymore. There's no way I can hold on to it. Too much Protoss firepower, and the best way for me to win this game right now is to go for an all-out counter. He's even brought his drones along with him as well. He's got 20 or so more roaches coming out of the production. And he is going to scurry them up into the main base and try to make his last stand to buy himself time, meanwhile going for this counterattack. And really, this is Hyun's best option if he wants to win this game. Is it going to be enough, though? And I love what Hero's doing. He's also going to be holding the line with sentries, with force fields on that ramp. Very, very smart. And we'll see who can hold it off better and longer. It looks like Hero was not paying attention, and he allowed a large army to get up onto the high ground, and that means that those force fields are going to be pretty much moot. They won't be around for much longer. But at the same token, Hero has been able to blast his way just through raw, sheer brute force up the Zerg ramp. And I think we do have a full-on base race now. If you look at it from just a supply perspective, from army supply perspective, Hero has a much larger army because a lot of the supply is being eaten up in drones, obviously. But then again, it doesn't matter how much supply you have. All it matters is how many buildings you have remaining at the end of the day. And these probes will not be able to make it out away, so we will not be seeing any additional Protoss buildings, save for the pylon or the random pylons here or there on the map, and that is about it. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, Hyun has been able to throw down another hatchery, so his buildings will remain hidden. And of course, that means that Hero is going to be at a disadvantage here. It's in a base race situation. We even have an extractor coming up inside the Protoss main base just as a means of survival. Hyun could actually win this game. That would be so sick. And he's going to be taking out the remainders here of the Protoss main base, even hatching into the main base as well. If you look at it from a supply, from a resources perspective here, we can see that the Zerg player is pretty much out of money, so is the Protoss player. But the Protoss, I don't think, has any probes alive. No, he's got one probe alive. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So Hero can actually throw up a couple new buildings to stay alive, but he does not have enough income, not enough money, I don't think, to make, no, he does have enough money to make a Nexus. He's got 640 minerals, so he needs to think about throwing down a Nexus here and, I guess, rebuilding his civilization. But instead of doing that, he's just gonna, I see what he's doing here, and he's gonna say, forget building a Nexus, I'm just gonna use my 600 minerals to build, you know, 6 more pylons or 7 more assimilators or whatever, and just hope to survive. Forget trying to re-establish the Protoss civilization. Just gonna try to win this game, and he is going to take out these roaches on an intercept maneuver. He's ranched them in with a great laydown of force fields, and just like that, Hero has taken a significant lead in this game. We can see, though, that Hyun isn't giving up. He's trying to take out the remaining structures with whatever force he has remaining. It's 83 supply to 70. But most of that supply is, of course, drones and corruptors, which are absolutely worthless at this stage of the game. Roaches and Hydras trying to find the remaining building. They do have vision right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hyun has vision of the remaining Protoss buildings. There's a pylon here, and an assimilator there. But his forces have been marooned to the bottom left-hand corner of the map, and they have nowhere to escape. They don't have burrow. which would be, I mean, so nice right now to burrow your units underground since there is no way to detect for the hero. Unfortunately for him, his forces get absolutely clobbered, but a couple of roaches coming out of nowhere, and that should be enough to take out the pylon and the assimilator. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, there is still one probe alive, and Hero still has one pylon down here in the bottom right hand corner, but it is getting focused by a few Zerglings. Meanwhile, these roaches gonna try to take out this assimilator, but they have no way to do it. Not enough firepower. The assimilator has too much HP, and Hero, I think, is going to win this game. Although then again, Hyun is still mining at the top left hand corner of the map, and so he's making a new spawning pool now. He can make more cracklings. Although no, Hero is, I think he knows where the base is. He's got to know where the new expansion is. Meanwhile, Zerglings, random units trying to go around the map, taking out the remaining buildings. A couple of Hydras coming up to the left-hand side as well. This is the remaining couple of Zerg buildings, the hatchery and the spawning pool. The spawning pool does finish up. Do we have any Zerglings coming out? No. There is another hatchery on the right-hand side of the map. Spawning pool has gone down. Meanwhile, this building is going to get taken out by the Hydras, and the final last assimilator is down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Where is the probe? The probe has made a new pylon. The probe has made a new pylon, and the hallucinated mass Phoenix fleet has come in. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess it's just for scouting duty, but there is one last pylon remaining for Liquid.Hero. He's got 290 minerals, which means theoretically he could make 2 more pylons or 3 more assimilators with that remaining resources. But he's got to prioritize now. I think he's got to leave some forces at home to defend this pylon and send the rest on a mission to take out the remainder of the Zerg hatcheries. And he used his Phoenix hallucinations to actually scout the map, and right now he's looking for the final hatcheries of Hyun. Hyun has one in the bottom corner, one over here. He's got a few straggling Zerg forces remaining on the map, 2 Hydras and a Roach. But there we go, the hallucinated Phoenix has found one of the hatcheries. And of course, Hero is leaving a very large remainder of Zerg forces behind. Look at this, we actually have a drone back here. You know, I was gonna say it could become a spine crawler, but I don't think so. There is no more creep really in order to utilize that. And Hero sees that drone, so he's gonna go take it out. Meanwhile, he's killed off the hatchery on the right-hand side. So all we have is one hatchery remaining, and Hero is victorious. Hyun has the GG out. He just doesn't have any more options. But a great StarCraft 2 game right there, coming down to the very last few buildings and seconds and units. I mean, that was incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed that cast. And I will be doing I think 1 or 2 more DreamHack games, and then moving on. So once again, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is HD StarCraft, and I am signing out.